Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. This is episode 90, League Cup's final. It's kind of crazy saying 90 episodes so far. But we have made it to 90 episodes, and guess what? We're previewing the League Cup final that will be on tomorrow night. So we'll talk about everything kind of leading up to that, kind of how we're feeling. We have Carlos and Louis who will be live traveling and being in that match. So we'll definitely hear about how their traveling status is going and everything like that. And we'll definitely talk about what happened over the weekend because we have to talk about it kind of prior to the League Cup final. But yeah, so if you're watching us via Facebook, YouTube and Periscope, please let us know what are your thoughts, what are your feelings, how are what you're thinking, any comments. We'll definitely share them on the screen and have a conversation about it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight?
Ready to get that sour taste from Saturday out of our mouths, that's for sure. And what better way to do that than with the opportunity to win the first trophy in the Holland era tomorrow? Seems pretty crazy to say that. He just got here. But we have a chance to hoist a trophy tomorrow, and nothing would take the bad juju from Saturday out. Nothing would eliminate it better than doing just that. So, yeah, anxious, ready, excited.
Not the best way to be heading into Leagues Cup with that loss. But I just think these guys are all focused and ready for this cup. It's in their heads. They know it's a priority. So I guess it's all right. It's all right that we lost. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. When you have a chance to let the bitterness subside and look back on and analyze it, then it doesn't seem nearly as bad as it did at the time. It seemed to me at the time, and I posted about this on social media, that in the now 219 matches that I've seen live, that was the worst one by far. Yeah. And I sincerely felt that way. And maybe I still do, but at least I'm able to put it into context a little bit more. Some starters sat, some came on late. Clearly they've had a very, very compressed schedule. The legs are heavy. They have to be. There's no way they're not. And it will all be worth it and more if we get the job done tomorrow, for sure.
Definitely. Javi, how are we feeling, Javi?
Like always, I always feel like everything happens. And of course, I was kind of mad, but then I understood maybe sus cabezas están en otro lado. Maybe they are looking at the final. They were thinking of the final. I think everything happened for a reason. Maybe Holland could study what went wrong, and I kind of hear what went wrong. I think we can have a lot of possessions of the ball. Even though Juarez is playing very well, I will say, I just think that it's time. It's time for Holland to kind of like figure it out and be like, all right, let's make sure that this doesn't happen against Seattle. But I think it happens. Como que tienen esa espinita, and maybe somehow they're gonna be like, all right, we can't lose on tomorrow, right? I don't know. I have mixed feelings. It hasn't even settled.
Yeah. Seattle. Seattle's coming in off a loss as well. A pretty loss that they'll consider pretty disappointing, and they played mostly their starters, and so both teams are kind of, I guess you could say, limping into this final a little bit. But when you think about it in that context as well, it's not as though Seattle's coming in guns blazing, all cylinders firing, and cuidado. It's not like that. They had a loss they'll be very disappointed with at RSL over the weekend. So game on at this point. Yeah.
Game on.
And we all know how I feel about the Seattle Sounders in general. It's kind of couldn't have been, for me, the stage couldn't have been set any better for a final opponent in this cup. I think I'm super stoked to face a team that in any context I cannot stand in any way. So it should be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
I expect a lot of Sounders fans to make the trip too, but I expect there to be Leon fans from all over the country there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't want to come to Vegas?
Yeah.
Vegas, baby.
For
Come on,
a
go.
final like this one. I'm already here, as
As
some of
you
you
can
can
tell.
maybe see.
Typical Louis.
The venue where the game will be played is behind me, probably about half a mile. Nah, not even, less, quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
And you can sort of see it in the frame behind me.
And we'll definitely get into the details of that. But guys, right before we start talking about Leagues Cup final, let's go ahead and quickly recap on that weekend game. You guys have shared, yes, it was, very frustrating. Now our heads are, kind of clear, borrón y cuenta nueva on tomorrow's final, but we definitely still have to talk about it and see what takeaways can we take from that game. And with that being said, Carlos, are you ready for our Lions Den podcast pregame?
Yes. Cool. So pregame news. 2 points. Obviously, we're playing the Leagues Cup final tomorrow against Seattle in Las Vegas. Should be fun. I'm going to be there. Louis is going to be there. Javier is going to be there. Is that right, Javier? Can you just confirm real quick? Because is he frozen?
No. It's because sorry. Because I was trying to retweet on Twitter the podcast, and whenever I get off the StreamYard, it looks like I'm frozen. Yes, I am going to be going. I'm going to go with my dad, and we leave tomorrow at like noonish, a little bit like around 12ish, so we can get there like around 5:30 Vegas time, because he has to work. I have to work, and we were going to leave right away too, because I have to work tomorrow in the morning.
Nice.
But yeah, I couldn't have missed this game because it's at Allegiant Stadium, which is home of the Raiders. I'm going to take even my Raider gear and stuff, because I think it's epic. I think it's, for me, it's like, I think Louis said it perfectly. It's like, for me, I was kind of scripting the whole final like Seattle, Vegas, perfect. And I was going to be back. To me, it was just kind of like, hopefully we do make it to the final. And now that we're here, yeah, I wasn't. So I can't wait to see you, meet Carlos. I've never met you.
Yeah, we haven't met. We'll see you tomorrow.
Meeting.
For sure.
Yeah. And then I wanted to see you too, Louis. Finally, with you,
man. The great reunion.
we can all hang out before the game, and with your dad.
Yeah, that's what I want to try. I want to try to get there as early as possible. That's why.
Cool. Sounds good. So yeah, all three of us are going to be there. And also, second point from last week, big announcement: the club inaugurated the Center for Youth Development called La Esmeralda. Is that correct? La Esmeralda.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's now officially a thing. They did post some pictures. There was an interview with Jesus Martinez, and it went pretty smooth. So if anyone has anything to say about that, go right ahead. Otherwise, we can move on to talking about the recapping the match that we lost and so terribly.
No, I mean, that's certainly an important thing. Part of a greater project. Obviously, it's not just that Center for Youth Development, but I mean, the team's main training facilities are going to be in that same complex when it's fully complete. So I mean, it's just a whole centro de futbol that this institution was lacking, that all the major clubs have. I mean, we've discussed this just to varying degrees in the past, but I mean, it's all coming together, and it can only mean good things for the club in the future, from a directiva that already seems to be handling things in the right way and taking things with the right degree of seriousness.
And I also heard the interview of Jesus Martinez saying que la afición esté tranquila. We bought the stadium. We're going to make a new stadium. We have La Esmeralda. That's going to be something that it's going to give us a lot of, I think one of the things that we talked about it many times about JJ Macías was that it would have been better si hubiera salido de la cantera del León. And therefore, that's what León needs to focus. León used to be una camada increíble de buenos jugadores leoneses, 40, 50, 60, 70.
Mm-hmm.
They need to return to being that team. So it's all good news, and it can all culminate tomorrow, their first international tournament.
Yeah.
En la casa de los Raiders. So.
Of course.
Yeah. Absolutely. That'd be a good way to top off the week. Starting lineup for León against Juarez. We saw a couple of changes. Rodolfo Cota, obviously, on goal. Avion Ramirez started. I think it was his maybe second start this season. Barreiro, Mosquera, and Osri completed the back line. Fidel Ambris once again started his second start. Didn't look that great, to be honest. Colombato was in there, Omar Fernandez, Elias Hernandez, Ormeño, who also didn't have a great game, and Angel Mena rounded up the starting 11. Surprises, anyone?
No surprises, really. I think it's a testament to how important William Tecillo is.
Yeah.
I mean, he just makes things so much easier for everybody else when he's on there. And he had played every single minute available in all competitions, I believe, since Holland took over. So, yeah, that was a big absence. And, yeah, I just don't think anybody looked that great, really.
No.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Fidel Ambris starting. He didn't do that well. Also because right off the bat, when he was substituted in the second half, Chapito looked amazing right away, right off the bat. I like los pases que estaba haciendo. Tiene vocación más ofensiva que Fidel. So I think that's kind of, we saw a little bit more of those beautiful passes. Incluso Davi le dio un pase, gave one to Mena 30 seconds later. That's kind of what he could give, right? But other than that, Tecillo descansando to me made perfect sense because I want him fresh, better, in condición impecable against Seattle. But yeah, those cambios were we kind of saw que iba a entrar. I don't think it was surprising.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the best thing that the team did in the game was possess the ball and pass the ball back and forth in their own defensive third for a long time. Like, that was the best thing they did because at least they saved some legs for tomorrow. That's pretty much the only positive thing I could say about this game. I mean, it didn't go well. The result was depressing, but at least it didn't seem like they spent too much energy. So I'll give them that.
Their legs are still kind of fresh, right?
Should be, hopefully.
Yeah, should be. I mean, they flew in yesterday, so
yeah,
pretty sure they got a practice in and a lot of well-deserved rest and ready for tomorrow.
Hopefully they don't spend too much time partying tonight.
Or going to the casino.
Oh no, come on. Come on, it's priority.
Tomorrow night they can.
Tomorrow they can party. Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah,
and they just might. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do.
Yeah, con un título, partying.
If we win, we gotta go like look for them if we win.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm gonna ditch my dad. Sorry, Dad. Screw my job. Lo de Juarez, though, I am gonna say that si los ganaron con un golazo. So
yeah.
But think about the foul, though. Like how
innecesaria.
Unnecessary.
Innecesaria. That's something we need to watch out because León, even though they had 8 fouls and Juarez had more fouls, I think they had 10. Juarez aprovecha más sus oportunidades. Juarez has, and also the same thing. They don't need to possess the ball to be dangerous, and that's something that I feel maybe against Seattle it might change because maybe I don't know if Seattle's going to respect or there's going to be more respect in between both teams, but I just felt like we all know, como dicen, lo de Juarez is, what do they call it? La quiniela. Es una quebra quiniela, right?
Yeah.
Rompe quiniela, right? Like people weren't,
Sure.
They weren't expecting Juarez to win the way they were. So, yeah, that being said, I think when León is a little favorite and you kind of see it in teams, como no sé si es pecar again de soberbia, I think it was a really good game at some point. A lot of disappointments because it was just passing the ball, and I don't like that because I always said that's the thing I don't like about Ambris era. It was a lot of possessions of the ball, but it always beat us. So there's no point in possessing the ball, capitalize. That being said about Juarez, I think, nos hicieron un golazo, aprovecharon esa falta que we shouldn't have made. And I guess what I'm trying to say against Seattle, maybe it won't be that much. It would be more respect. Like, I guess maybe León would be más cuidado against Seattle. Maybe. But, watch out with Rui Diaz because
well, I mean, we'll get into the preview in a bit, I'm sure, but I don't expect the same kind of game. I don't expect the same kind of game at all against Seattle that we saw against Juarez. First of all, Seattle doesn't play like Juarez does. They don't play Tuca ball. they're not gonna.
Caboose.
I think they're really gonna go for it, and I think Leon is too. And the teams play similar styles, so I expect a really open game. I don't expect anything like what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, if anything, I mean,
that's like the silver lining, I guess.
I mean, Juarez beating Cruz Azul, I don't think it would be like Javi said it, that they would ever. I mean, imagine it be against Leon, but it was to me, Javi's a very frustrating game. It was very sloppy. It was very uninspirational. It was just blah. Like, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? It is what it is. At the end of the day, tomorrow, they would have played 4 games in 11 days, which it's crazy when you put a scenario with all the traveling and stuff like that. But I think we'll definitely see a different game, like Louis said, against Seattle. Totally different emotion, totally different. Like se juegan, and we'll definitely talk about it a little bit more in the preview. But I think that Juarez game was just very frustrating and upsetting in my heart. Just so.
Also in my heart. I had a hard time finding the game. Carlos knows. So right when I got a good link, los meten un golazo. Come on. I was like, come on. I was already trying to do something else.
Definitely. So we definitely saw, I think what we pretty much expected was we had mentioned Santiago Ormeño getting more minutes, and he did start, but it still wasn't, as we had hoped his performance would be. Youngster Fidel Ambris, we're glad the youngster getting minutes, but it wasn't his best games that we saw. He subbed out. So it's kind of like up and down with some players, but definitely capitalizing how important the CEO is. He literally is just our guy. He's our dude, our bro,
He's the glue guy, as they say.
Yeah.
He's the glue guy. I like that. Anything else so we can go ahead and move on to the meet and greet of this podcast?
Yeah, let's move on. We don't need to talk about that game anymore.
Yeah, let's forget about this one.
Let's forget about that. Forget about Juarez. On the chat, we have Louis, your parents are saying hello from Vegas, and also Go Fiera. We need every emotion towards that tomorrow night. Jonathan Rocha said, "Arriba las Chivas, mi Javi."
Where's the ban button?
Oh, dude. There's because I just shared it on Facebook, and it's like some of my friends are gonna be like, "Arriba las Chivas, arriba la América." Why is it that they care about what we gotta say? Is it because they know we are playing way better football than their team? Yeah, I think so.
They like you.
No, saludos mi Johnny, Un abrazo allá. He's from León. He's from my colonia, same calle, and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of chivistas in that calle. That's why I like Guadalajara León, because it's like the whole colonia is like 50-50, but we're 50 más uno. So
hey, I like
that. Is that where they have the Chivas jersey welcome mat?
That's in San Juan de Dios, but they do that for every team. Cuando va a jugar León, but against Chivas, they had it out for like 2 weeks in advance. Like they really want people to step on that. But usually it's a week in advance, but sometimes they skip like Mazatlán. They kind of just go after Chivas, América, Cruz Azul, Santos, Tigres, Monterrey, pretty much.
Nice.
Awesome. So guys, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Leagues Cup final tomorrow, September 21st in Las Vegas. Like I said, comment, follow us. Let us know what your thoughts are during this preview. I want to give a quick shout out to @Siando@Heart for including us in their article labeled 3 questions, kind of a preview article in regards to tomorrow's matchup. So shout out to @Sounder@Heart. And I want to talk to, like we had mentioned, Louis. You can see the background. He is already there. Carlos and Javi will be going in tomorrow. So, Louis, what have you seen so far? Have you seen any fans? Have you seen any, noción of anything?
I haven't seen any Leon fans. I did run into, shout out to Sebastian Laureano and Paulo, who are the official team photographers, travel everywhere with the club. I ran into them on the street out here near where I'm staying and near where the team is staying, and had a little stop and chat with them for a few minutes. But other than that, I haven't seen any team personnel, no players, no coaches, but I expect to run into them tomorrow around, shortly before game time, hopefully. Hopefully we can find a way to make that happen, generate some some good content for the social media, and the only person I've seen was one dude wearing a Sounders jersey, and we made brief eye contact because I was wearing this official gray travel polo with the Leon shield and the Charlie hat that I got on now. He definitely noticed me. I noticed him. We exchanged some evil glances, and that was that. So far, that's all I've seen in terms of the match. But the stadium is right behind me. I can't turn any which way without seeing that massive big black dome right there. So the excitement is in the air. There's an atmosphere around this area for sure. About the game, it's unavoidable. I can't wait.
Now, what do you think, guys? Are we expecting more Leon fans, half and half? Like any percentage guesses of what we might see tomorrow?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I do expect. I mean, the Sounders. It's no secret my feelings towards them, but I have to recognize their fan base is one of the most loyal and one of the best traveled, along with my Portland Timbers. They, part of the reason that it's the best rivalry in American U.S. Club soccer is how devoted the fan bases are. Each of the fan bases are to their clubs. That wouldn't happen if one were less than the other. So shout out to their fan base for being one of the best. As much as I cannot stand their club, the club they root for, their fans travel well. I expect to see a bunch of them here. It's a pretty short flight from up there. All kinds of crazy deals on airlines, whatever, to get here. I expect to see a bunch of them, but I also expect to see the same Locos de Arriba groups that were present in Houston last week. I expect them all to be here as well. Yeah. They have factions in Milwaukee, Chicago, California, Texas. I expect all of those groups to have representation here. And I expect fans to be coming from all over the place for Leon as well. So I don't know if it'll be 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, who knows, 80-20. I really have no idea, but I expect there to be healthy representation from both sides.
Definitely. So I guess question, is this a redemption? Like, is this a redemption from the blacklisted games that we don't really talk about versus MLS club and tournaments? Is this final Leon's redemption to finally crown themselves?
It's a good start. It's a great start. I will say this also, that given the announcement about the expansion of Leagues Cup and future editions today, I think that sort of changes the narrative a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because if we win this, and then in 2023, this becomes an official tournament with every single team in both leagues participating, I mean, we'll still have that second ever Leagues Cup trophy to our name. Doesn't matter if the format changes. Yeah. We'll be a Leagues Cup champion when the Leagues Cup is a big deal. I mean, that's the thing about this, is it's kind of in its infancy. It's just getting started, but it's going to be there were rumors that it could turn into something big, and they pretty much confirmed that with today's announcement. So in 2023, when the whoever wins the Leagues Cup is going to have to go through a lot of teams to do it. They're going to have to go through the thresher to do it, really. It's going to be a much bigger feat than it is, admittedly, now. Leon could still be the 2021 Leagues Cup champion, and that will mean something. As the years go by, people remember less and less how exactly it happened, and all they'll remember is that it did.
And that it happened at the home of the Raiders.
I don't know if I would call it redemption, because I would much rather have a CCL Cup. I'd much rather have a CCL Cup, and it's much harder to get a CCL Cup than it is to get a Leagues Cup, in my opinion. So
I agree with both.
I think they see it. I think the players in the organization see it as redemption, just because it's an international trophy, even though it's not official. I guess not yet. Yeah. But anything, if we can bring home any silverware, I guess it matters. And I mean, I personally don't consider it redemption, though.
I agree with both of you, because even in La Directiva, Jesus Martinez was saying he already talked to Olan. He knows their number one priority, he was saying, is llegar a un Mundial de Clubes, which means ganando una Conca Champions. So I do agree that I don't think it's redemption because we lost in un certamen de Conca Champions. If it was, again, playing Conca Champions, yeah, it would be redemption. But this is a good start in order to start, continue to talk. Si León es un grande, si León, can't lose finals like this. They can't lose the way they did against those games we will never talk about again. And that's the thing. Like, that being said, like, they have to win tomorrow because I just feel like if they're really going to be talking about que son grandes, you can't look back and say, oh, we lost against Seattle. And no matter what kind of final it is, you got to win it. Eso es de grande. So that being said, I think it's going to be more like a redemption porque perdimos quizás la campeón de campeones, because that could have been Holan's first tournament officially con la Fiera. But, I think it's all for a reason. And I think if they do win this title, it would mean a lot because it would be like Louis was kind of mentioning, it will be a legit international tournament that later will become even something better and bigger. And all that matters is that León has one. So I just see it as a game that needs to be won por la gente, por la afición que they won an international title.
Yeah.
Side note, for me, I remember when we lost the Campeón de Campeones in LA, when Carlos and I
We're
were
not going to
there.
talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
No. I said when we recap that, I said at the time, if they make it to the Leagues Cup final, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Because honestly, being here in Las Vegas and going to the game tomorrow in Allegiant Stadium, home of the Raiders for a final, is far more enticing to me than a Campeones Cup match against Columbus Crew in Columbus. To be honest, I think. It felt crummy at the time, but I think it was that blessing in disguise that I predicted it might be. This feels also
way better.
It's harder. It's arguably harder to win a Leagues Cup than it is to win the Campeones Cup. I mean, that's a one-off, and this we had to win 2 other games to get to this point.
And León has done it well too. They destroyed Kansas. They look really good against Pumas. Yeah, this could be like the cherry on top. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves because that's a team that I know, Louis, you hate them. I'm worried a little, but just for you, man, I don't want to see you mad. Like that's why I'm like telling the universe, like, look, you guys can't do that to Louis, like, because then we're all gonna have to fight. We're all gonna have to be like, Louis, calm down. I feel like Sounders fan happy around you is not a good thing.
Yeah, that would not be a good thing at all.
And also, I can't lose at home of the Raiders. I don't want that to be my first memory at that stadium. So no, we need to manifest this. We're gonna win. There's more in play for.
Listen. I think the biggest reason we can't lose is because
we have to see you, of course.
No. Hold on. This is on a grand scale. This is really USA versus Mexico. I mean, everyone in Liga MX is rooting for León. Like,
true.
This isn't Chivas or America where their fans root for the other team. This is all Mexico fans are rooting for León.
I have seen that on Twitter.
Not all MLS fans. Obviously, Louis isn't rooting for Seattle, but I assume that there's going to be a large fan base in the MLS that is going to be rooting for Seattle.
Who's Donovan going to be rooting for?
Now, Carlos, just to push back on that a little bit, I guarantee you, everybody in Portland is going for León, and everyone in Vancouver, BC. I know that's Canada, not the US, but everyone in Vancouver, BC is also going for León. Timbers Sounders. The Timbers Sounders rivalry has as much animosity or more than America Chivas. It's that same level. So no Chivas. If this were America, no Chivas fans would be rooting for America in this game. No Timbers fans are rooting for Seattle tomorrow, and that's a big fan base.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest, one of the most loyal, and one of the most fervent in Major League Soccer.
And probably in Mexico, only Irapuato isn't rooting for us, but who cares? Like that's like that. That being said, like I like all of that, man. It's what generates these epic games. That's what I hope for it to be an epic game, but one of those games that, yeah, like Louis is saying, like imagine having people there from Portland going, or just from Vancouver. Say, hey, we're just here on vacation, but you know what? Everybody goes on vacation every other day to Vegas. So what if they're like, hey, there's a game, I'm gonna go. And plus, this would be like the third of, two preseason Raider game and plus the one against the Ravens. So it's very like new. Like people are getting able to go finally visit this stadium that's been open for almost a year. So I can imagine just people that are just there, wherever they're coming, wherever they're coming from, saying I want to go to this game. What if someone's from Vancouver? I'm like, you know what? I'm going for Leon, and that just little bit of energy is enough for someone like Chapo to feel it and turn Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct, y meter unos golazos. I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. So okay.
Yeah, this is only the probably 5th or 6th event with fans total in the stadium in its existence. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
So we must win. We must win for Mexico and for the Liga MX.
And for the Raiders and for everyone.
And for Javi's Raiders, okay? That's the bottom line. Senaku, welcome back to the chat. He said, well said, Louis. What he said about it's a good start. This is a good start.
Oh, yeah.
The whole redemption question. So I really like how you said that. I guess my question next would be, it's a final. What players from Leon have to make themselves present tomorrow? What player do we have the most expectation from tomorrow?
Somebody's got to finish. We're going to get tons of chances, and somebody's got to finish them. So whether it's Ormeño, whether it's Davila, I guess Davila will probably start.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get on the end of those chances. Maybe Omar Fernandez finds his punteria this time because it's been lacking. He's been up there and he's had some chances.
There's no one more important that needs to show up here that always disappears in bigger moments than Angel Mena.
Yes.
He's the one that needs to show up.
Time.
Tomorrow, it's his time.
That's redemption.
If he
has a redemption.
If he scores 1-2 goals, he needs to shut the crowd up and be like, everyone now you guys want to talk. I hope he shows up tomorrow. He's known to kind of disappear in these events, in these big events, but I think he's the most important one.
Yeah,
I think
you're right, Carlos. I didn't even think about that. Because sorry.
Give me a sec, Javi. Shout out to Romo Vasquez, to the N commentator, saying hello, guys. Hello.
Oh, what's up? What is up?
Thank you for tuning in. And I think you will be out there. Let us know.
I'm pretty sure he's the only guy that can really rival Louis in terms of siguiendo a la fiera. So I think he's probably gonna
we've exchanged contact information, so maybe there's a collab coming soon. We'll
okay.
Question mark. Now shout out to Romo Vasquez, always doing great content. I'm always listening to him. I enjoy listening to him. He's one of the few through the NFOs that I really enjoy.
I watch him in Televisa Bajío every time I'm in León because my buddy Ricardo Preciado is also there. But now he's giving the news, which is really awesome. So shout out to him, to Omaro Ceguera, which is crazy. He used to always go to my grandma's house because my cousin they were high school best friends. And I watch Televisa Bajío, so I do like what Romo does, what Ceguera does, what Preciado used to do in Televisa Bajío. I used to be anti-Televisa, but for real, Televisa Bajío is cool, man. I like it better than Azteca Bajío, and that's not because of things I did in the past, but because I used to be there. But yeah, shout out to Romo, and that's cool that he linked up with Louis because he's like, hey man, if you're gonna take my job, why don't you just work for me? He feels threatened.
Well,
I don't know about
that. Just joking. But Mena has to show up.
Yes, Angelito Mena needs to show up. Okay, with that being said, what are we thinking about a possible lineup? We had some players rest in the weekend. Obviously, CEO being a huge one. What are we thinking of a possible lineup in a final? Are we seeing the similar, lineup that we've seen that Alan has pretty much stuck to preview to this past one?
Yeah, I think we all know the usual starters.
The usual starters.
He's not making any funny moves. Not for a game like this.
Yeah.
So my question, Carlos, are we starting Avion or are we not starting up?
I think he's going Mosquera on that right back. Yeah. I think he's going Mosquera there.
Mosquera, Barreiro, Tecillo, Osby. Is that the
yes?
Osby, yeah. And then Colombato,
Jefecito.
Jefecito,
Jefecito, okay.
Omar Fernández,
Okay.
Ángel Mena,
Mhm.
Davila.
And on the other side, Elias, maybe.
Elias.
Elias Fermin, yeah, right.
Elias, yeah.
So we were benching Chapo tomorrow.
I think so. I don't think he's
So-
ready. I don't think he's in rhythm yet.
But for sure, like if something looks kind of
The
crazy
only-
with Federico, you know, switch him
The only
up.
thing I might say, Meneses didn't start in the last against Juarez. I could see him starting over Elias. That would be the only thing I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tal vez.
I could see that.
I could see that.
Rojas
But that's a pretty
Castillo.
strong lineup. Either way, that's a very strong
Yeah.
lineup.
I'm still iffy about the whole Mosquera. And you know, Carlos, this is ongoing
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
No, I am too. He
We all are.
has looked good as a right back in the past, but this season has been shaky
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Holland just prefers him there.
And
over-
I think
over
I prefer Avion because he gives so much depth on the wing. You know what I mean? Like he offers me more on the wing than me being kind of like on the edge of our, how our defense looked really sloppy this past time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Only thing is, Ramiro did make the trip. He is in the convocatoria, but to expect him to play at all, I don't know.
Nah.
No.
Nah.
I'm glad he's
Just
back.
there for
Yeah, I'm
Just
glad
there
he's
I'm
for
glad
moral
he's back
support.
too. I like
Just there for
I
more-
like Ramiro.
I love it.
because when he was before his injury, he was clearly preferred over Barreiro.
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're benching Chapo. Up, we have kind of split of Avion or Mosquera.
Well, it's not that we're benching. It's not we're benching Chapo. Chapo hasn't started yet since
hasn't
coming
started.
back. And as Carlos said, I don't think we're going to see any experimentation in a game like this.
Yeah, no, we're not going to see any experimentation.
Maybe Chapo could start
Hopefully
on
not.
Saturday against Atlas, but
I
I
never-
don't think he's going to start tomorrow.
I never thought that we would be in this position, guys, because I never thought we would actually be talking about Chapo not starting, not being an integral role of our starting 11. Because if you guys remember, and I think I deserve an apology, guys. I
What?
brought it up. God, he knows what
For
I'm
me?
talking about. I brought it up at the beginning of the season. I said,
It was a
I
hot
don't know. I
take.
think we need to bench Chapo and let somebody else run the show. And the show's been running itself. No one person has been running it in particular, but the show's been running itself. And it is blasphemous to say, but it looks a lot better than when Chapo's not in there.
Honestly, maybe that's the thing you can most credit Holland with in his short tenure with the team is finding a way to adapt without having Chapo available and still feeling a side just as competitive. And the Sounders are in a similar predicament, are with Nico Lodeiro, Uruguay international, who is one of the top 5 players in Major League Soccer, to be fair. And he just had his second knee surgery of the season and will not play tomorrow. But they had. It should be interesting to see an interesting side story. They had played very well without him when they didn't have him at the beginning of the season. But he's been back recently, and they upped their game with him there, and now he's unavailable again. And he was unavailable this past weekend, and they lost. So, maybe they got used to having him back, and now he's not back again, and they're having trouble adapting to playing without him. I mean, MLS is not a side is not a league that has universally as talented sides as Liga MX does. I mean, you'd never have a back line. You just can't invest in your back line really in MLS with the salary cap that they have. So you never have a guy like William Tecillo, who's arguably our best player and the best, the guy that makes everything work for our team. You'd never have a guy like that in MLS because that'd be a designated player, and they just can't spend that on a left back or a central defender. So for them to be without Nico Lodeiro, for them to be without one of the 5 best players in Major League Soccer, I mean, honestly, they might have another one in that list in Raul Ruiz, who we know well from his time with Morelia. He burned Leon on more than one occasion, burned many teams, but especially whenever Leon would play Morelia when he was on there, that was a nightmare. But yeah, we'll see how much that affects Seattle. Hopefully a lot.
And I think going back to what Chapo, obviously his injury, we did have to kind of live life without him. And I'm going to what Josue Espinosa commented. A Jefecito that looked way much better than the past couple of seasons, finally kind of redeeming his level of play. A Colombato that has shown so much growth and adaptability, and that tomorrow tiene que tener la cabeza fría, because it's the final.
Yeah.
And obviously, Omar Fernandez. I mean, he is just swerving. Like, it's just amazing to see him. Like, he's just so quick and so agile. And that's what I said. The mid has been looking good without Chapo, and I agree with Carlos. I love Chapo, but the mid has looked good. And then he also said, it is a little sad, but the team adapted really well without Chapo. We will always love Chapo, but given the age and time, maybe this is the beginning of the end. Don't say that. He may be more prone to injuries.
I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
The task
No,
now.
look at Sambuesa. Look at Sambuesa.
That's what I was gonna say.
Still do. And Chapo has the same, if not more, ability to have his career last even longer. No tiene que correr as he used to, but he doesn't need to. Like cuando él entró against Juarez, I did see him being a little bit more offensive. Like he's very cerebral. So I like him a lot because he's very smart. Y te puede definir una jugada in less than a second or two. I don't think a lot of players the ones that we have for sure look very good. Mm-hmm. And sometimes Colombato tiene esa genialidad. I see it sometimes. And Jefecito just looks very secure. That's kind of what we want from him. So that being said, yeah, right now we're sacrificing genialidad in momentos a veces when the team is low, because that's what Chapo has. Chapo has the ability, and I'll never forget against Veracruz. We were gonna lose against that Veracruz that hadn't won in 30 games. Yeah. I was like, no, we can't lose against. We can't. And Chapo came through, and I think Chapo realized we can't lose against them. And when you have a player like that, con esa mentalidad de líder nato, that's what he is. He's un líder natural. You always want to have him on the field, but si está en la banca, con que esté con el equipo, I think we're going to be okay. Him being in la banca, and it's a good thing. I think, yeah, like Louis said, credit to Olan. It's very hard para que León juegue sin Chapo after all of these years, yet the team still looks really very good, and credit to Colombato and Jefecito, because they've been doing their job very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's not the end of Chapo. It's not the end.
The task so Holland figured out how to make the team work without Chapo. His next task, his and the rest of his staff, is to figure out how to turn Chapo now from just another dude on the bench into a true variante, like somebody who having that option there, carving out a role for him that puts the team over the top and makes them a contender, that gives them that extra something that the other contenders in the league don't have. That's the next task. Because it's never not a good thing to have a healthy Chapo available. They just have to figure out what his role is. Yeah. And once they do that, I mean, that could mean the difference between La Novena y no.
Yeah, I think Jefecito's up there for candidate, maybe top 2 most improved player of the league. And I think Omar Fernandez is top 2 best offseason signing of the league. Nobody talks about it, obviously, because we're not as mediáticos as other clubs, but we'll talk about it here. Keep it within ourselves. Make ourselves happy about that.
We're just keeping it real, Carlos. Like, that's what it is. Like, for real. I also was kind of raving when they bought Ormeño. I thought it was just going to be Ormeño. Then they said Omar Fernandez. I'm like, dang, Leon's going to look even scarier now. But yeah, they don't talk about it. They just talk about Bucetich será de Chivas? Like, okay, man, he's out now. What are you going to talk about now on Fútbol Picante?
Yeah, there's other stuff to talk about, but no, I think Javi definitely summed it up of what Chapito brings, and we have to conserve that very close to our hearts. One of the few players that's still around. Obviously, Navarrito making his comeback. Which we
Navarro. That's the other thing. Hopefully,
we forget about Navarro.
Hopefully he can come back this season if he can. I mean, that's another tough task for Holland to carve out a role for him. But I mean, that's another variante, a really important one.
And I'm curious to see when Navarro recovers, what Holland's thinking, since he's more towards traditional roles, not so like Nacho. So I'm really, really curious to see what that looks like when Navarro comes back. But I guess we'll get there at that point in time. But right now, he's making his comeback. He's getting stronger. We've seen on his Instagram stories and everything. He is making a comeback. Hopefully, like Louis said, very, very, very soon. But yeah, anybody in the chat to let us know anything else that we are missing about tomorrow's final. It's gonna be very exciting. Hopefully, lots of brilliant people make it. We'll definitely see what Carlos, Javi, and Louis will bring to us regarding content, what they see out there, el ambiente. I'm sure it's going to be a very good one. Guys, do you think we're ready for predictions?
I think we are.
I think we are.
Okay. Everybody in the chat, let us know what your predictions are for tomorrow's final, and we're going to go ahead and go into our prediction time.
Prediction time!
Prediction time! Tomorrow night, guys, it will be a very happy moment or a very devastating, turn off the TV, lay in the dark type of moment. Well, for me, because you guys will be out there living it either way.
We're gonna win.
We're gonna go ahead and go with predictions for tomorrow night, and let's go ahead and start off with Louis, who is already there. Louis, your prediction, sir.
I'm going to go with a 2-0. I think it's going to be a really open and exciting first half, but nobody's going to finish. It's going to be frustrating. And then Leon finally breaks through shortly into the second half. Seattle has to open up way more, and the second comes shortly thereafter, and then that's going to be all she wrote.
Okay, 2-0, Leon.
I think Mena gets the first one. I don't know who gets the second one, but I think Mena gets the first one.
Including a goal from Angel Mena, making himself present in Javi's favorite stadium. Javi, your prediction, sir.
I think it's gonna be 3-1. I can see it being 2-0 at the half for Leon. I can really see it, and then I could just see Seattle trying to, and they're gonna score one, and then they're gonna be very close scoring the second one. Y en un contragolpe, hopefully Angel Mena steals the deal con un 3-1. If we're gonna get all like visual, like that's what I can see.
Javi 3-0, making it more
3-1.
Oh, sorry, 3-1.
Yeah.
3-1. Painting a picture tomorrow. Carlos.
I was gonna go 3-1 too, like Javier, but I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 instead. I think it's gonna be an open game, like Louis said. I don't know their goalkeeper situation. I don't really follow Seattle, but I don't know.
I think Fry is back.
No, but is he what is he elite?
He's good. I mean, he's probably a top 10 goalkeeper in Major League Soccer.
Oh, that's not.
And that's
he's not better than Cota.
Remember, it's a pretty strong position in the league because they have their choice of. I mean, there's only one of them on the field, you know.
Right. So yeah, I think 2-1. Both sides are going to get opportunities, but I think we have a better goalkeeper, a national team goalkeeper, who's going to keep out a bunch of shots, and yeah, it's going to be an exciting game. But 2-1 though.
Okay, 2-1. Josue, give me your prediction. I actually Senaku stole mine. I wanted to play a little, you know how I predict. He says I want to play a wild card 3-2, Leon winning, and I'm gonna go with the 3-2 as well, Senaku. So I'm saying it's gonna be a high scoring game. It's gonna be very interesting. Carlos Hermeño, what are we thinking? I want to play. Oh wait, sorry. Where did that comment go? Did they delete the comment? Oh no,
it's up there.
To write it, I was sad to write it, but Seattle wins in penalties.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
Dot.
I don't really want to go to penalties.
Is it just 90 then penalties?
90 straight to PKs, yes.
I really want it to be end 90 because I have to get to work tomorrow to Utah, and that's gonna every hour count. But I don't want it to go to penalties. If it does, okay, bro, we're gonna win. También, we got Cota.
Stefan Fry did play against RSL on Saturday, and so I expect him to be in goal tomorrow. I'll say just that the Timbers beat him in a penalty shootout to make it to MLS Cup back in 2018. So yeah, he can be vanquished in a penalty shootout if it were to come to that, which I don't think it will.
See, I mean, Javi was the walking encyclopedia. Now it's like Louis the walking history, book or
I
something.
mean, when it comes to high octane games against the Sounders, yeah. I mean, I've watched many.
Our Jose, who could not join us, but he says 2-1. It will be an exciting, even match, but Leon will walk away with the win. And he says, I hope you're wrong, Sanaku. 3-2 ain't good for my heart. Let's go with Josue. He had lots to say. He said, I know it's a very unimportant title. If we win Liga MX, we'll say it doesn't matter. If we lose, it will be a failure. But winning tomorrow is a step in the right direction to be recognized at an international level. Futbol Picante will acknowledge us tomorrow, one way or another. 3-1. Either way, I'm a bit nervous.
It's like the only way, Josue, so they can like acknowledge us, and it's only gonna be for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then they're gonna be, es que León es el que mejor juega, but they talk about another team that aren't even gonna qualify to la liguilla, una liguilla que califican 12-18. But yeah, I think it's what Louis said. It's definitely the right step into the right direction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the stage it's being played on, I don't know how you can say it doesn't matter. I mean,
it doesn't. Yeah, it matters, bro. For us, if we're gonna go, it matters.
I mean, they're trying to make it matter. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, in like 10 years, it might be like a very important cup to win.
Yeah.
In 10 years, but right now it's not. Right now it's like.
And also, I
didn't. What you guys? The path for the leagues.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask you guys, the tournament Leagues Cup. Eventually, you got. I don't know. I didn't read it, but I was gonna ask you guys because I heard it somewhere on Twitter. Is it true that eventually it's gonna be more also like beneficial in terms of that the teams are gonna make more money as they progress or as they make it to a final, or there's
it's inevitable. The way that they've mapped it out, it would be impossible for that not to happen.
So it's gonna be even desirable to play eventually.
Well, first of all, it's going to be an official tournament, and second of all, every team from both leagues is going to be involved in some way or another. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, just the money to be made just for the sheer number of matches being played and the coverage, and the fact that it's an officially sanctioned tournament. Yeah, there's no way that doesn't happen.
Yep. So it is important.
Yeah,
definitely.
But it's not, even though it's not that way yet, this is an important stepping stone for that to happen. So, I mean, it's all a process, and this is part of it.
It's a little lily pad for the frog. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going with. We beat Americana Azteca, we beat Flamengo at the Maracana, Pachuca, we can do this. Dale. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we are at the end. After tomorrow's matchup, León will be playing this weekend versus Atlas. 5:00 Central game.
El caballo negro.
Yeah, I mean,
they always say that, and then it never is.
They're currently in third.
This is the first time since 1999, Louis. I believe in them. 1999. They're playing like nah. I mean, yeah, it's all hype. Come on, I think it's mainly hype. I don't think they're playing anywhere near as El Atlas de la Volpe, but yeah, they do always say that.
Mm.
So, Liga MX America is in first, Toluca second, Atlas in third, and León in fourth. So it'll be a very interesting matchup this weekend after whatever happens tomorrow night. Also, don't forget Liga MX peeps, El Clásico America and Chivas will be played this weekend. So shout out to the Eagle Eye podcast and Chivas del Norte. I was watching their podcast yesterday, their combo of back and forth. Obviously, I want Chivas to win because I cannot stand America. But shout out to them for making great content and keeping us all updated on the Clásico this weekend.
I want them both to lose.
Yeah, even though it's not possible. Bueno, un empate con dos autogoles.
It is possible if they both have more players on the field than on the match day roster. Like Atlas. Remember when Atlas took those 3 points from America?
That could be that could be one way.
Oh,
yeah. I kind of just want them tres lesionados, tres rojas, and 0-0.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting just for Rustich's departure. I know Chiva Hermanos are finally sleeping very nice at night, knowing that Rustich is out. I think Michele Año, they were saying, will be taking over that Clásico matchup, and he has a pretty good run when he's taken over for the couple of games in between coaches. So we'll definitely see what happens on that Clásico. Obviously, Liga MX fans definitely watch that game this weekend. But don't forget tomorrow's matchup: support Leon versus Seattle in Las Vegas. It'll be very interesting. Let us know
baby.
what let us know what you thought about this podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all social medias. If you're missing the game for some reason, go ahead and follow Club Leon EN for keeping you live updated on what's going on during the matchup. But if not, then we'll go ahead and take off, guys.
Okay.
Cool.
See you guys on another episode of the Lions Den Podcast.
Peace. Arriba la fiera. América lost against Toluca. Ha 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 ha.